Christmas, huh?
No.
You put it on.
Sorry.
I'm not complaining. What date is it?
Uh,
June 18th? 18th? We start early around here. Well, it's a hot June afternoon, or morning actually, morning. It's probably close to 90 degrees out here. This morning we were listening to some Christmas music, so I decided what a better chance or way to start, or time to start thinking about Christmas decorating, but now. So the first goal would be to kind of come up with some ideas on the house. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a picture of the front of the house, and then we'll put this inside and start making some adjustments. Okay, now working with the Lightorama boxes, which I'm going to be doing this year, and I've got 4 boxes, so that gives me 64 channels to work with. I don't believe I'm going to be budgeting any more for any new boxes, or even though I'd really like to, I don't think I'm going to be venturing in the RGB LED systems, just because I need to get I don't want to take on too much for this year. I've got to reprogram everything. I'm going to have to get new lights anyway, so I'm going to do it year by year. If I'm in this house for the next 2 or 3 years, then I might start venturing in that once, because I always like to make sure that every year is different in some senses. Some people set up their display and it's the same every year, and they might add a couple things here or there. I'm weird when it comes to, I like the fact that I like each year's show to be almost completely revamped with some of the old, but very much new. So anyway, got the picture taken in front of the house, and I'm going to be going through some of my ideas, some of my options, no matter how stupid or outrageous they may be. I'm going to be going through of obviously right here with these pillars. Some of these newer houses, the pillars are only half pillars, meaning it doesn't go all the way around. These do go all the way around. Also, these go all the way around. They're not touching the house themselves. This is a touchscreen. I have this window here, which is behind this palm tree, and I've got a palm tree here in front of this window, as you can see. So outlining the window might not be as great of an option as it was in some of the other houses I've lived in. The cool thing about this house, though, is it's got a nice big roof for a piano keyboard, which I'm debating on whether I'd like to do that or something, but I'm going to be doing something on this roof line. Whether it be the piano keyboard or not, I'm not sure. But chances are I'm still going to mirror the eaves, 8 channels, probably 8 here, 8, 8, 8, and then up 8, down 8, and then back over. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 sets of 8. I don't know if I'm going to be doing that or not. I don't know. I'm up in the air. I might do something similar to what I had before, but that is a lot of Christmas lights and a lot of extension cords. And that's a real pain in the butt that I've discovered over the last year. It looked really cool, but making sure that you hook your extension cords from one set, channel 1, and have them all come in, it's outrageously annoying to me, and I have a lot of extension cords. So I'm debating on possibly changing the way I do that, keeping the same effect but changing the way I do that. So maybe that'll be a case. I have to measure my wreath and this spot opening right here, see if I have enough room for my wreath. Should be 8 channels. I mentioned the pillars, so I'm definitely going to be wrapping the pillars. Whether I go just 1, 2, 3, 4, or if I spiral them up, I'll have to debate that. The tower is going to go over in this corner right here, and it's most likely going to be attached to the side of the house, so it's going to be a floating 50-foot tree. The tree itself is probably going to be about 40 feet, but it's going to be floating, and it might even be a little bit skinnier than I've had in the past. And I actually had thought about doing 8 rings and then attaching icicle lights to the rings. So it's kind of, the icicles are hanging down from the rings and just doing 8 channels up and down, maybe even 9 with a star. That's something different, and I have plenty of icicle lights, so maybe I can do that. And then I've got these arches here, one here and one here, obviously, which I could do 8 channel arches up in these section. I did this one year at property, I guess it was the first year I started my videos, and it was okay. I didn't do a great job making the arches, but I've gotten better at making my arches, so maybe I'll do that with these. And then I've got these these facings here. Pretty decent spot to work with, so maybe I can do something by wrapping or striping or doing something really cool in here. So I'm going to play around with some of the ideas, and obviously I've got the entire yard and driveway. I don't think I'm going to do any arches over the driveway. It's kind of overdone in my opinion, but I'll see if I can come up with any new ideas. To try to get inspired, I pop on YouTube a little bit, and I tell you what, I don't know if it makes me discouraged or inspired to see some of these houses. It is just crazy what these people can do, and it's not necessarily what they can do, it's what kind of money they have to be able to work this with. And I always told my wife that if we ever win the lottery, we're in trouble, because I'd be spending a lot of it on Christmas decorations. This guy here, give props where props is due, Tom Betgeorge. Anyway, he has one of the most amazing but simple displays. This is very a lot like what I would be doing if I had this guy's kind of money. Everything he has is these LED color changing, just down a little bit, kind of lights, and he has these programmable spotlights usually used in concerts and things in the roof line, which I'd dye. He has a fog machine. I would obviously add a few other things, but these things cost so much money. It's just ridiculous, and it really kind of makes me jealous, for lack of better terms. That I wish I had that kind of budget to be able to do what I envision, and that's one of the most frustrating parts of doing these Christmas lights is knowing that I'm strapped. I am limited to funding only. I'm bursting at the seams with ideas, but I can't seem to, ever have enough money to do that. I have 3 kids, and especially holiday season, it's a lot of presents to buy and a lot of things that we like to do. So it'll come over time. That's what I keep telling myself. I just hope that the ideas keep coming. I might think of something, and then a couple years later I see it somewhere else, someone else has done it, and I always wanted to be that first guy that does it, but I make do with what I got, and I try to have fun doing it, and people like it, so hopefully you guys continue to follow. This is the hardest part of any season, is determining what you're going to put where and sticking to that plan. When it comes to my house and my decorations, I've come up with a few different scenarios, and I really want to do it, but sometimes I'll stick to a plan and a project that I'm not sure how to do or how much it's going to cost to do. So things change down the road. Hold on a second, sweetheart. There is a well at this house that we're living in now, but it seems like the pump isn't working for some reason. And if you've seen some of my older videos, I actually had a water show incorporated with my Christmas lights, and it was really cool. Well, the first year we did, it was really cool. However, I've never had a well, so I've been feeding that off of city water, which that in turn will cause a high water bill. So this one has a well. I gotta figure out and see if there's a way I can get the well working, or the pump working, and if I do that, then I'm going to incorporate some sort of water feature to the show this year. So I think I can go run out there this afternoon and see if I can at least determine what's the problem and try to price out how much it's going to cost to fix it. I heard from the landlord there's a possibility that the the well isn't deep enough. But I don't know. I can't get the pump running, and I haven't really spent much time on it. So hopefully it's just the pump, and maybe it's even an easy fix. So I'm gonna look at that. Well, it's late, and trying to brainstorm with some Christmas ideas, and I really like the fact that this house has this stripe or decorative, whatever you want to call it, already in the same. And I would really like to be able to stripe or to layer the house white, just all the way down, but making this red. And I'm thinking about doing that and then making it, I don't know if I'll just do the white and then red separate on each channel, one channel. It obviously only take 2 channels to do that. Or it would be really cool if I can make it like 4 channels or 8 channels that chase all the way across and they mirror. So I'm debating on that. I'm really debating against maybe doing the piano keyboard on the roof, and instead of doing that, to wrap this 8 channels, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 over here, just this whole facing. So I'm really thinking about doing that. It's perfect. It's very visible from the front of the house, from the road. And with these, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 instead of spiraling them, and 2 different colors at least, maybe even 3 different colors going up and down. I'm actually thinking about I'm thinking 2 colors, red and white, and do 1, 2, 3, 4 red and white, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 red and white, but they're not going to be mirrored. They're going to be completely separate from each other, so I can make them go backwards or do a lot of cool things. But mirroring these 2 pillars with these 2 pillars, so these 2 will do the same as those 2. I'm really debating on whether I want to do the front here as well with the 8 channels, whether I mirror it or whether I do 8 additional channels. That'll be something I'm up in the air with. I might not do that there, but then again, if I don't, I was curious on how it would look. The eaves, I've had this idea of doing the eaves, the 8 channel chasing eaves, but with like C6 bulbs and spacing them a foot apart and having 8 every 8th bulb, 8 channels, and then mirroring it. But the only way I can figure out to do that would be to measure off the eave length, buy that much times 8 of lamp cord, and then place the sockets where I need them. So it'll be killing 2 birds with 1 stone. I can actually I could just cut it to where all the plugs come in one spot, so I don't need to have 100 extension cords running the eave. And I think it would look really, really cool. But I've got to really price out how much that's going to cost, and realize that if I do that, it'll be for this house, and it won't be for, I really hate doing that on a property I rent, because what if next year we don't live here anymore, or I don't know. So I really like that idea. I really don't know if I'm going to be able to do that or not. And that's one of my hold-ups about spending a whole lot of money on LED or custom light work on any house, because the fact that I don't own these houses, and I eventually want to own my house, and I'd hate to spend all that money and time customizing for this house and then realizing that it's going to be ruined, or I'm going to have to redo it all when I move. So I didn't get up and measure the roof line there, so I don't know if that's going to work, but I'm thinking a lot also of floodlights and how cool it would be to be able to put some spotlights facing towards the road on the corners. We'd put 2 over here over the garage, 1 there, 2 that's 4 and 5, 6, and possibly putting 1 on the end there, 7, and just have them as a pop effect, so I could blind the people on the road with that big hit. And I saw that in another house a couple years ago, and I absolutely loved it. And also, if I can get the pump running, which I was unable to, I didn't really spend a whole lot of time, but if I could get the pump running, I would love the effect of having possible jets coming off at the peak, but coming off the side. Just 2. Just 1 on that side, 1 on this side. Have lights, so on those big hits, I can have the jet go off and it'll just basically squirt on the roof and then drip down. So, just as that cool, big effect. Still going to be working on the tower. On what I'm going to do, probably just the 9 channels on the tower instead of using 16 like I normally do. And then I would have to put something up on the roof itself whether it be just static display or spell something, write something out on the roof. I'm not sure. And then I'd really like to be able to line the yard, which you can't see at all, but be able to line the yard with some really cool candy canes that go back and forth. I have no big trees in the yard this year, which is good in one aspect. I don't have to worry about decorating them or them being in the way, but it's bad in another aspect that I have all this room in this yard and I have nothing really to put in it unless I make something. So I'm going to be looking into possibly making some decorations for the yard this year. Some good, cool decorations. So I've got some projects to do, got some direction, and hopefully that'll work. And then, here once I set my goal, set my design, I can start programming. So make sure you like and subscribe. Keep in mind we are doing a daily vlog on our other channel, link down in the bottom. So follow us there too to see what else we do. And stay tuned. We got plenty more to come.